told that this number of postures are good and this number of postures are bad. It's bad to sit like this. It's good to sit like this. But then you have clients with good posture, they have neck pain. Bad posture, they have neck pain. Research on posture, not a good outcome.
All right, so I wanted to keep going with the last story I just shared because I posted a decent amount about the spine and pain and stuff like that. And it's something that I'm passionate about because coming from a guy that in my mid-20s was in like chronic pain, especially back pain, for 3 to 4 years, hurt every day. I have a lot of experience with it. And when I tell you now that I really have zero ever, that's the honest truth. And it only makes sense of why I don't. And that's what I kind of want to kind of go even a little bit more in depth with. So on that post, he's talking about how posture and stuff like that is not really the answer about having perfect posture. And then I kind of went a little further with the top up and put that if you are safeguarding it or you're like, I can't do this because it's going to hurt my back, that you're already losing the battle. In 2 reasons. One, because you're sitting there thinking about pain, right? So meaning that we know pain is very complex. And if I'm already thinking about how I'm just not using the spine how I should. And if I keep thinking about how my shoulder, how it's messed up and it's hurting, then it is going to hurt more. There's tons of literature out there that's proven that too. So we want to get to where we don't think about pain at all. And by regressing to progress, we can do that. So that's one, is you want to get out of that mindset first, even that you do have pain. And it's hard to do if it's really chronic, right? You can't just kind of magically be gone. But you want to, over time, convince it with more and more load and more stress and get it so strong that it's not even something you think about. So instead of thinking what I can't do, you already want to change that thought of what can I do? So let's go on that a little bit. So then when you start to think about what can you do, right? We'll talk about the spine. This can apply for anything, but we'll do an example here with the spine. Let's just say that you're doing back extensions. You were told to do back extensions, and that would strengthen your spine and help you. And let's just say you did 3 sets of 12 body weight, no weight, and the next day your spine was super locked up, okay? The way I think is, instead of being like, oh my gosh, I can't do back extensions, that hurt my back, that's just something I can't do, which is what a lot of people do. I can't do those because they hurt my back. You have to look at it in a different lens, okay? So I would be like, and this happens with clients all the time. We try stuff, it doesn't work. We go back to the drawing board. It's not like, oh my gosh, can't do that. And I explain this to them. But so let's go back to that one. So you wake up next morning super locked up. Well, first off, maybe it's just too much volume. You haven't been doing anything. You do them, and maybe instead of 30 reps at your body weight, right, you should do 2 reps, 3 reps, whatever. That's one way, right? Just to decrease volume. But what I like to do also is, let's say that you could somehow hook up a band, right? So you hook up a band, you put it around your armpits, and then you do them, say on the back extension machine, maybe you wheel it over on a bottom with a squat rack right over top of you. And then you do the back extensions, right? And it takes a lot of load, therefore it's less weight. That would be a good way to look at it. Maybe you start off doing them on the floor, less range of motion. That would be another regression. And you bang out, let's just say you can get 10 reps, 3 sets of 10. It doesn't feel that bad. Next time you rock with 15, let's say you build them up to 50 reps, But you get what I'm saying. So you progress more stress, and then you go back to that machine, and then it's able to handle it. That's a good way to do it. Let's just say that it's just, when you're doing it through the movement, it's just excruciating. It just doesn't work right. Let's look at, can you get down on the floor, and can we get into like a cobra stretch, right? And can you feel some kind of opening angle stretch, right, in the abdomen? And then we know that if we can feel an open angle stretch, then I can just do isometrics from that position, and I can build strength, right? So I can actually be in this position, and then I can kind of contract, trying to pull myself deeper, where it's just an isometric, right, which doesn't have as much of an inflammation response. And you can do that for 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and do sets of those. And then over time, as you see more load from that, then you can start to then again go back to the back extension machine, just still staying on that example, and see if now you can tolerate body weight, right? And if you can't, just increasing the isometric, and then on the ground, and then to the machine, and more range of motion and all kinds of stuff like that. That is one example. But you can take that example, and the spine needs to move in every position, right? So that's kind of what that video was talking about. It needs to flex, full range of motion. It needs to extend. It needs to laterally flex both ways, and it needs to rotate both ways, okay? So I would train all those positions and use that same thought process, okay? And if you do that, I promise you, maybe it's, again, even starting off body weight, and then adding load, you will be 100% set up more for success than you will if you just say, I can't do it, I have a bad back, therefore I'm not going to do it. So I hope this tip helps.